What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web here on a Monday night. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Your Rolex Reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And, of course, for fans of this show, the Tampa Bay sports fan, and especially you Go Bucs fans, it's your time. So how do we start off this good time, this great time, if you will, because there is an anniversary that we should talk about. Do you Bucs fans forget that? I'd never forget what happened 22 years ago tonight. Bring the passion, bring our excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense on tonight's show. No Harry the Greek, no Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. It's just you and me, because the Bucs have hired their offensive coordinator, and it's Zac Robinson. In fact, this is what Todd Bowles had to say about the hire. Of course, if you watch this show on Wednesday nights, I predicted it. It seemed like it made sense. And the story was, at the time that the show was on, even at 11 o'clock at night, he was still interviewing, being Robinson, with Todd Bowles. He was getting ready to go to the airport. Todd Bowles called back and said, come on back here. We're going to make it the offensive coordinator. So my question for the night, Bucs fans, what do you think about Robinson being the new offensive coordinator of this team? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Todd Bowles had this to say: we are excited to welcome Zac Robinson as our new offensive coordinator. Zac is one of the bright offensive minds in our game, and during the interview process, I was very impressed with his plan for getting the most out of the talent we have on that side of the ball. He has a very good understanding of the strengths of our top offensive players from his time in the division the past 2 years, and I'm very confident in his ability to teach and develop our young players. That's Todd Bowles. He is still your coach. He has not been fired, and most likely he is not going to be fired at this point. So again, Bucs fans, what are your thoughts on Robinson and the hire at this point? One coach hired, one coach going to the snake there in Jacksonville, being Liam Cohen, as the Jacksonville Jaguars have hired Brian Picucci from Tampa Bay as their run game coordinator, per source, if I can talk. He and the Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen worked together in Tampa in 2024 on the offense that finished third in total yards, fourth in points scored, and fourth in rushing. So the Bucs get a coach, they lose a coach. So, again, your thoughts, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Bruce Arians has some comments about Lavonte David and Mike Evans. We'll get into that. No Harry the Greek, but Super Bowl 60 is set. So the phone lines are ringing. I guess I should answer the phone lines as I said. So stand by, phone caller. Super Bowl 60 is set between the Seattle Seahawks, who, by the way, are celebrating their 50th season this year. They're going to the Super Bowl in California versus the surprising New England Patriots. How about that? So the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 60 in a couple weeks. Bucs fans, football fans, do you care about that matchup? And oh, by the way, I mentioned this as we get out to the phone line there. And Abraham, Corey, call back if you want to, because I know you guys have opinions. So we definitely take those phone calls. 22 years tonight, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. 48-21, Super Bowl 37 versus the Raiders at the time. Again, Dexter Jackson, the MVP. Give me some memories from that. Once again, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. YouTube Super Chats are open. If you like the content, give to the content. And, of course, friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Stand by. Corey, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to go out to Abraham, so stand by. We'll come out to you in just a moment, okay?
Okay, all right.
All right, let's go out to Abraham. Abraham leading off here, the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a Monday night. What's going on, my friend? Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Sorry that I missed your show last week, but we had a chat about Zac Robinson checking all the boxes.
We did.
So, so he's got 2 years OC play calling experience in the same division. Then he's coached under McVay.
Yep.
He actually was a play drawer for 3 years under McVay.
Correct.
So, and then he elevated. He was the quarterback coach and pass game coordinator for Stafford and Baker. So I see he checks all the boxes. I mean, and he's established a good running game in Atlanta with Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson.
Who, by the way, Algier is a free agent, so a lot of Bucs fans, again, connecting the dots, which Rachaad White looks like he's seen his best days here. He's going to be gone. Sean Tucker is a restricted free agent, so I don't know if that's a possibility or not, but he seemed to always kill the Bucs. He's very good in the red zone, so maybe that's a possibility. I don't think running back is a position of need, but once again, you go to where you're familiar with, and maybe that plays a part in it. Maybe a Kyle Pitts being a free agent with Zac Robinson getting the most out of him, especially versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe that's somebody that they would consider. So you like the move at this point? You like the hire?
Yeah, I do. I do. It checks all the boxes, and the biggest thing is he's got a previous history and relationship with Baker. So, like Liam Cohen did, and I do like the hire. I think it's a very underrated hire. Unfortunately, he gets a bad rap for the offense he had in Atlanta, but it was a real good offense. It's just that the quarterbacks he had to work with were pretty not the ideal quarterbacks that you want to run the Sean McVay offense with. He had to go to a pistol format, and he was handicapped by the also the lack of receiver depth he had also. So,
well, it's going to come down to, I don't know what that is. Hold on a sec here. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. All right, go ahead. My phone going crazy. Go ahead, my friend.
So I honestly think that I think in a different scenery here in Tampa, I think he'll do better. But the biggest problem is if he succeeds, the ownership is going to be good at keeping him so that there's some consistency as OC, because we've had too many OCs come and go, so we need to keep one for a while.
Listen, that's a problem. That's a bridge. That's something you don't need to worry about right now. I understand a lot of Bucs fans wanting Todd Bowles fired, and this is going to fail, and we'll see how it plays out. And I get it. There's a lot of negativity right now. The morale of this team, especially of the fan base, is down. But I would just say, let this play out. Let's see how aggressive the Bucs are going to be. I would expect them to be aggressive when it comes to free agency and, of course, the draft, because I think they have to be at the end of the day. But, that's a good problem to have, especially if he turns around this offense, which, let's face it, took a step back from the Liam Cohen days. Say whatever you want to about Cohen, but he definitely had this offense in the top 5, top 10. They were definitely humming, especially when it comes to third down and red zone percentage. But you're exactly right. You're curious to kind of see how Robinson, what his plan is. Todd Bowles liked it. So we'll see how it all plays out. Super Bowl 60, you care? Do you care at this point with the Seahawks versus the New England Patriots, or you don't care?
I do care, because I think the last Super Bowl that the Patriots played against the Seahawks, instead of Russell Wilson throwing it, it should have been a handoff to beast mode, and the Seahawks won their second Super Bowl.
I agree. I got a story about that really quick. So I'm hanging out with my father, and I'm hanging out with a friend by the name of Kevin Clayton. I'm sitting there bragging. By the way, never bet on something unless unless you got an idea about it. Don't just bet with your heart, like Harry the Greek says. Again, he's not going to be joining us tonight, but I'm sitting there and I'm bragging like I always do, and I'm saying the Seahawks are going to win this game. They got it in the bag, and sure enough, Russell Wilson throws a pass, and I'm saying this to my father. I'm saying this to the guy that I'm hanging out with at the time. Kevin Clayton, we're all watching the game. I bet him money on it. And my dad, I believe it's my dad or it's Kevin, slaps me in the back of the head, says, That's what you get. I think it was definitely my dad at the time. That's what you get for betting on the game. So I got slapped in the back of the head at that point. And of course, the Patriots go on to win the Super Bowl there. And you're exactly right. One of the worst play calls in Super Bowl history. Hand it to beast mode. Don't throw it from the goal line. Malcolm Butler called, and he's got your number, Russell Wilson. Anything else, Abraham?
No, yeah, I'm looking forward to a really good defensive matchup, but I think that Seattle has a slight edge, but and I like to see Seattle, a 50th anniversary team like the Bucs, win it in the 60th Super Bowl. That's all I got to say. I'm done.
Love it. Good stuff, Abraham. Appreciate the call. As always, you brought it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's continue with the phone calls here. Let's go out to Corey. Corey, welcome to the Evolution. Zac Robinson, the new offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think, my friend? Welcome to the Sports Web. Yes.
Peter, what's up, man? I got a couple of things. I heard you say that the Bucs won their first Super Bowl 22 years ago, right?
22 years ago, my friend. Did you guys know that? 22 years ago. Has it been that long? I'm 47 years old. Let's figure this out. Let's do the math here because I'm not very good at math. But at the time, I believe I was 25 when the Bucs won their first Super Bowl. Is that correct?
I was 25 too.
25 years old. Give me a memory from Super Bowl 37 with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers in dominating fashion, 48-21 over those Oakland stinking Raiders.
Yeah, man, that was a good time. The city really parted. But I got a question for you. Do you think that the Bucs would have won that Super Bowl with did John Gruden win that Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's team like an offensive coordinator, or do you feel that Gruden was the head coach that came in there and really made that team a Super Bowl team?
Definitely Gruden made the team because a lot of people, you say it's the attitude, right? He got the juice. I go back to talking to Dwight Smith about this about a month ago, and he says it wasn't that Dungy, it's not that Tomlin is a bad coach. It's just that the message gets stale, if you will. And I think the message at that point was stale. And that locker room at the time needed some juice. And you get that from John Gruden. And yes, he had a great defense. And that's the reason why the Glazers, who, by the way, a lot of Bucs fans forget, they made the sacrifice there of trading 2 first-round, 2 second-round picks in order to get Gruden. And you would have done it again over and over again. You would have done it 2 times on Sunday, every day, 365 days of the year, including holidays. You would have absolutely done that because it paid off in big-time dividends. But do I think it was Gruden? Do I think it was Dungy's defense? Do I think it was Monty Kiffin's defense? Yeah, I think it was one of the greatest defenses, if not the greatest defense of all time. And the Glazers knew that, and they knew they needed an offensive-minded coach. And a lot of people, they kind of just, they go over that year and they say, well, that was Tony Dungy's team. Okay, but also John Gruden, how many free agents did he bring in offensively? Joe Jaravicius, he was big that year. Keenan McCardell, he was big that year. Pittman, Michael Pittman, remodeling. I mean, we talk about it over and over again. There were so many free agents offensively. I mean, Joe Jaravicius made one of the greatest plays that nobody talks about in the NFC Championship game that turns that game around against the Philadelphia Eagles. It really does. And even Gene Deckerhoff talked about this. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. So definitely Gruden had a part in it. Was the defense there? Absolutely. That window was about to close. They were getting older, and Gruden had a big-time part in that with not only bringing that juice to the locker room, but also getting those free agents to come here to Tampa Bay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I want to get on to Zac Robinson. Zac Robinson, he wasn't my first, second, or third choice, but, what can you do when you got a coach on a hot seat? You don't know your security of the job. You don't know what's going to happen. And I really wanted McDaniels, but when you put their stats side by side, Robinson does a better job than McDaniels, from this year that just passed. Zac Robinson, he like to run a lot of 11 personnel, man. So my feeling is we got to let Cade go, man, and try to get Pitts in here. We need a tight end that can run the seam, you know what I mean? I know they saying like, well, Pitts can't block or whatever, but I mean, Pitts is dynamic and he can run the seam, and that's another option for Baker Mayfield. I mean, I'm not really impressed with Cade right now. I don't feel like after that rookie contract, we should really pay him like that. We should let him go test the free agent market. If we can't get him get Pitts in here, he already know the scheme and everything. And like I say, Zac Robinson like to use a lot of motion, a lot of level personnel. And I think with the right tight end in that system, that we can go put up a lot of points.
I definitely agree with you. I just wonder how much the cost is going to be because, again, you're going to devote that cost to linebackers. You're going to devote that cost to edge rushers. It's going to be interesting to see. And if it doesn't cost you too much because, again, Pitts has not necessarily performed that well besides against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe his contract is low, and maybe because he's familiar with Robinson's offense, that would be somebody you consider. But I definitely think that's an upgrade when it comes down to what else, Corey?
Oh man, that's pretty much about it, man. I mean, that's really what's going on now. What we got to get another quarterbacks coach and another D-line coach, something like that.
Yeah, you definitely got some moves here to make when it comes to the coaching staff, and we'll see. You also lost your run game coordinator to the snake there in Jacksonville, Liam Cohen. Brian Pacucci.
Boy, ain't that joker a snake, boy. Woo!
He's a snake. He is a snake. He's a cold-hearted snake. He's a snake. And I'll continue to call him. People will criticize me for it, but that's how I feel, and that's what we do here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television on a Monday night. By the way, Super Bowl 60 is set. Are you interested in it? Are you watching it?
I think it's going to be I'm not interested. I think it's going to be kind of like, it ain't going to be boring because Seattle can score a little bit. Then you got a defense on the other side. So I kind of be rooting for Seattle, man, and Sam Darnold, everything that he done went through, from seeing ghosts and everything, and everybody criticize him. Man, if he could turn that thing around and get a Super Bowl, man, that'd be good for him. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of rooting for the Seahawks. But do I care about the Super Bowl? I really don't care. But Bucs ain't in it. So.
You don't care about it. You're kind of like me. I watched the playoff games and I was like, damn, just a couple plays away. And listen, I don't think the Bucs earlier this year beat the Seattle Seahawks, so you can hang your hat on that. But besides, the second half of the year was a complete disaster. I agree with you. I don't care as much, but I'll be interested in Super Bowl 60. It's a great story. And oh, by the way, all the people out there saying, well, you got to have an offensive-minded coach. No, you don't. You got two defensive-minded coaches that are in the Super Bowl at this point. First-year coach and Mike Vrabel there for the Patriots. And, of course,
Mike Vrabel is an excellent coach, man. I mean, that man is a leader of men, man. I mean, I don't understand why the Titans got rid of them. I don't understand it.
Well, because they're a terrible organization, because they're hot garbage, and that's what bad organizations do, and that's why I can continue to say, listen, Todd Bowles has his faults, and Corey, appreciate the call as always. Todd Bowles has his faults. But you don't want to be that organization, right? You don't want to be the Jets. You don't want to be the Titans. You don't want to be the Cleveland Browns, which, by the way, have they hired a coach yet? Does anybody want the Cleveland Browns job at this point? What the hell are the Buffalo Bills doing when they fired Sean McDermott? Let's go out to Trevor. Trevor, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. 22 years tonight. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. How about that? How about that?
Yeah. I remember that game. I was watching it at my dad's house.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And my dad, he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but he knew that I loved the Bucs, and like he was cheering them on like he was a diehard fan right along with me. So
it's awesome. I love that. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't get a chance to watch the Super Bowl with my father. My mom stood in because my dad had to work a lot on Sundays, but I remember the call at the end of the game when the Bucs win, and we have a good emotional talk, and he says, that's for all those years that you got made fun of in middle and high school, for all those years believing in this team, how does it feel, my friend? How does it feel, son, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl champions? You did good, son. You did good in believing in this team. That's exactly what he said, and I'll never forget it. It was an emotional talk at the end of the game, which was amazing. And I love the Tampa Bay sports fan. A lot of people are entitled now. They want to win a Super Bowl every year. You can't do that, but it took so many years for them to win that first Super Bowl So when my dad called me, there was definitely an emotional moment. And I thought about, all those years of losing that it actually paid off. You know what? It paid off. It was worth the wait. And if you had to wait again, another, 37 years, something along those lines for another Super Bowl, you definitely would do that. It was over 37 years, 1976 to like 44 years, I believe, at the time, 44 years to win a Super Bowl. It was damn worth it. And I don't want to wait again, but it was worth the wait. We'll just put it out there. What else, Trevor?
Yeah. And then, address the OC position.
Mm-hmm.
And to all the, the Bowles, people, I hate to tell you guys, but we're not hiring John Gruden as our head coach.
No.
Let's all to know that.
No, John Gruden's not getting hired as a coach. Todd Bowles is going to be your coach. They hired Zac Robinson, and I like the hire. I know a lot of people I go back to it, right? And I put this out there, a couple of days ago. He was the guy that every Bucs fan wanted. He's from the Sean McVay tree, and then he went to the Atlanta Falcons. He had a good year his first year, and then the second year, and now he's available. And it's like Bucs fans have forgotten, and they just what have you done for me lately? Oh, he wasn't good last year, so you don't want him no more. Wait a minute, he's still a good coach. They had some problems at the quarterback situation. I think he's going to do some wonders. I think he's going to turn this offense around. Again, the eternal optimist in me, maybe to a fault. I get it. Todd Bowles, to a lot of fans right now, is a lame duck coach. He very well may be a lame duck coach, but they have the personnel offensively. I think they can turn this damn thing around. I'm going to believe it until it's done. And then when it's done, then we'll talk about it. I like the move of Zac Robinson. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. At first, I wasn't too thrilled about it, I think it was more so because I really wanted Mike McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that I didn't. It wasn't that I hated Zac Robinson. It was just like, damn it, I want Mike McDaniel. But he decided to go to L.A. And so now that he's in our building now, it's like we got to rally around this guy and hope that he utilize our weapons that we have to the best of our ability. I know everybody's talking about Kyle Pitts, being a free agent, but I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like Cade Otton.
I like Cade Otton too. I like Cade Otton. I wish he was more consistent. I don't know how much he's going to cost. I mean, he hasn't been able to be more consistent. I wish he was more consistent when it came to blocking. I wish he was more consistent when it came to catching the football. We saw how many times last year for him reaching or being a part of a critical play and it going, the other way. I hate to see that for him because I think the guy works hard. You got to get him more involved in the offense, whether you go with Pitts or whether you re-sign Cade Otton. Cade Otton can't catch his first touchdown in the last week of the season. You got to get him more involved in that offense, and whether it was the offensive line, which I definitely think you could put it on, right? You're missing both of your guards at that point, so you necessarily can't run those tight ends out. You got to leave them in there to block, to help your quarterback out. We always talk about help your quarterback out, help your offensive line out. So I don't think you can necessarily do that. You can't use him as effectively as you want to, but you definitely got to get him involved in the offense, especially if you re-sign him. And I think you may have the opportunity to re-sign him, or you may upgrade and go with Pitts. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I like Cade Otton. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we signed Pitts, though. I mean, if the contract is right, meaning like for the right price.
Yeah.
I know, like, obviously he knows the scheme that Zac Robinson runs. And then, he played football at the University of Florida. I don't know if he's from Florida, but, that might, persuade him to come to Tampa. But really, I'm more so concerned about what are we going to do defensively during the free agency and during the draft. That's my biggest concern. I think we just need to get a little healthier on offense, a piece here, a piece there. And I think we're set offensively. Obviously you want Baker to be healthy. And so defense is what I am mostly concerned about.
I agree. I think a lot of people have to be concerned about the defense, right? I mean, whether you have Lavonte David retire or not, which we'll get to those comments from Bruce Arians, but whether he retires or comes back, you've got a need there. You may need 2 linebackers. I say you need 2 linebackers in the first place. And then once again, as I said on the previous show, you've got to double dip. Whether you have to go into free agency, get an edge rusher, go and do it, go draft somebody. You've got to solely focus on defense. This defense has to get better in order for you to go anywhere, especially with, once again, this NFC South getting better by the day.
Absolutely, because I mean, you look at Carolina and Bryce Young. I mean, they got a talented offense. Jalen Coker, Tedderone McMillian. The running backs that they have down there in Carolina. Bryce is getting better. I don't really know what Atlanta's going to do offensively with their quarterback position because Michael Penix Jr. He's still injured, I believe. And then, you got Kirk Cousins down there. That's a mystery. I mean, but New Orleans seems to be trending in the right direction. All those things are all those teams are improving offensively, which means if they're improving offensively, we got work to do defensively. You know what I mean? Definitely, this is the time. This is Jason Light's time to shine. Basically.
Agree. I completely agree with you. It's his time to shine. We'll get to some comments from Booger McFarland, who said not only in so many words, paraphrasing, that it's not just Todd Bowles, it's also Jason Light. And look, my co-host Harry the Greek has said it in so many words that this is not just all Todd Bowles. This is not all just the coaching staff. This is on Jason Light. And even, Booger McFarland kind of hints to, Jason Light could be on the hot seat. So, yeah, again, I think the pressure is on. What do we do? What was it? John Gruden said this. You either feel the pressure or apply it. And at this point, this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team in this offseason is going to have to apply it and not feel it. Anything else here, Trevor?
Last but not least, I'll talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl 60. You're interested in this?
Not really. I mean, when I was in the Army, I was stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Tacoma, Washington. I was there for 4 years.
Right.
I was there actually when they won their first Super Bowl versus the Denver Broncos. So I mean, I guess if I'll pull for a team, I'll pull for our, I guess, classmates since they came into the NFL same year as us. So I guess. Go Sea Pigeons.
Well, yeah, Seahawks, and you know why? I mean, there's some positive stuff out of this, right? If the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, Bucs fans, you can actually say that you beat the Super Bowl champions in Seattle early on in the year. I know it doesn't necessarily feel good, but you have something to hang your hat on. Trevor, appreciate the call as always. Use that second one if you want to, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff there. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. 22 years tonight, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I said it. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl, Gene, right?
Fire the cannon!
Right? So give me a memory from that. Where were you on that day or that night when they were playing the Raiders? Give me a memory of that year. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about Zac Robinson being hired. And, of course, Super Bowl 60 is set between the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. Do you care? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to the comments because this is all about interaction, reading comments, taking phone calls. That's what we do here. Remember, YouTube Super Chats, Facebook Stars are open. Give to the content if you like the content. What's good, Peter and Harry, Buccaneer Nation? What's popping? What's up with you, King Cook?
Oh, yeah.
Right there on YouTube. Got to love that. We can get started now. Let's go, Sports Web. Let's go. Love it. Go, Bucs. Go, Bucs. Go, Bucs.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Go, Bucs.
It's exciting.
Go, Bucs.
We got the job, baby.
I'll do it. Let's go, Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's go, Bucs.
Fire the cannon!
Let's go, Bucs. There we go. A little bit long-winded, but that's okay. You said go Bucks. There, realtor David Zuzman. Love it. Evening, everyone. Evening to you, Christopher Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Tim. What's up, Peter? What's up with you?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you said what it is, Peter. At 22 years tonight, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. Where were you? Super Bowl 37, 48-21. Do you remember? I definitely remember. I wouldn't have hired Zac Robinson. I think his job in Atlanta was very mediocre, considering all weapons he had at his disposal. I would have hired Nate Schillhouse. Of course, he's got an interview right now, had an interview with the Cleveland Browns, also the Buffalo Bills. And according to old friend Jenna Lane of ESPN, the reason why the Bucs didn't look to hire him is because they thought he would be a head coach. They interviewed him last year. The talk is from her that if it wasn't for Josh Grizzard, they would have hired Schillhouse last year as their offensive coordinator. Going back to that, though, to that point, you had a revolving door at quarterback. Michael Penix was hurt. You had Kirk Cousins, wasn't as mobile. You look at the first-year offense, one of the top in the league. The second year, it kind of fell off, right? So now the question is, can you turn around Baker Mayfield? And oh, by the way, we predicted this on the Sports Web. We told you that Baker Mayfield would have something to say about it, and Mayfield did have something to say about it. Of course, his time with the LA Rams, a short amount of time, but he definitely, put in a good word, if you will. And listen, you're going to listen to your franchise quarterback. I know a lot of you don't think he's a franchise quarterback. The numbers last year, him being hurt, I think definitely was a reason for his numbers dropping, for the offense dropping at the end of it. But he's definitely going to have some say. And I think he is the quarterback going forward, unless, of course, he has another bad year. Then you may have some conversations about moving in a different direction. Let's go out to this guy.
Mr.
All right, best of the Bays, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, 22 years tonight. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl 48-21. Welcome to the Evolution.
Brother, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Mondays aren't always the most energy driven. No Harry, he's sick. Hopefully he gets better.
Yes.
But I'm feeling good. I didn't realize it, but it's 22 years tonight. The Bucs won their first Super Bowl. So we had to come on here. We had to talk some football. The Bucs hire Zac Robinson. The Bucs lose a coach to the Snake there in Jacksonville, and Super Bowl 60 is set. I mean, what more can you have? Football season never ends on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Never. You know this, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy.
Oh, brother, and the funny thing is that each year with 8 or 9 or between 8 and 10 coaches fired each year, whether your team, and the last 3 years, our team's been in it for an offensive coordinator, but whether your team's in it or not, it's a narrative at the end of each season. And one of the narratives I even heard today was the defensive coordinator from Jacksonville withdrew his name from consideration for the head coaching job there in Cleveland. And Pete,
offensive coordinator Grant Yudinsky, who is a young prospect, just like Mr. Schillhouse there. You're exactly right, because nobody wants that job in Cleveland because it is. Oh, by the way, Shedeur Sanders made the Pro Bowl, like that means anything. But nobody wants that job. Why? Ownership is bad. The organization is bad. That's why I caution Bucs fans to, when you're on top of you're screaming on top of the rooftops there to fire Todd Bowles, you can easily become that organization like the New York Jets just end the season. You can easily become the Tennessee Titans, which, by the way, are waving to their Super Bowl head coach there for the New England Patriots. Well, I mean, listen, Bucs fans had to do it for many years, right? How many quarterbacks went to other teams? How about the great Doug Williams, all right, going to the Washington Redskins at the time and winning a Super Bowl? How about Steve Young winning a Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers? How about Trent Dilfer winning a Super Bowl for the Baltimore Ravens? How about Chris Chandler not necessarily winning a Super Bowl, but taking the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds, to the Super Bowl? You think Bucs fans should forget it? No, that's like you having a scab and digging into it, seeing that.
And the crazy thing is, Peter, you're right there. The references you made, Chris Chandelier, when he ends up going to the Super Bowl, or even Steve DeBerg, ends up becoming the oldest backup quarterback in the history of the National Football League. I think it was 48 when he was backing up with the Falcons that year. For years and years, we had to look and see where our quarterbacks were going. And I mean, for some of the younger fans, and I'm not trying to be the old guy that walked 6 miles uphill both ways to school, but we actually, and even Dan Marino, if we hadn't screwed the pooch in 82 or 81 with Booker Reese and drafting him behind Sean Farrell, we still have our first round pick in 83 after Culverhouse doesn't sign Williams. Right. And Dan Marino is a Buccaneer because the Bucs would have picked before the Dolphins that year, and there's no doubt that they would have taken the kid out of Pitt. So yeah, being a Bucs fan for pretty much most of the 50 years, except for the last 12 and then Brad Johnson years, because we had Tony in the defense, we had to root for our quarterbacks going elsewhere. So at least it's up. This offensive coordinator, third year in a row, and I think Zac Robinson's a guy. I mean, you guys, that OC's guy, he's been a coordinator, albeit under Raheem in Atlanta. He knows the division. He also knows the Falcons really good, and he's going to bring some personnel with him, which I think is one of the things we didn't get with Grizzard last year. We got Grizzard to come in, and he's a third down guy. He'd been on the team, but he didn't bring anyone in. It wasn't like an infusion of any kind of a knowledge base. I think that Zac Robinson, what he'll bring to this team, if once we get the whole thing figured out with, okay, Coach Bowles is the head coach and Jason Light's the general manager, as long as there's no separation of church and state there, I think we're going to be solid in 2026.
Yeah, and I think there's some questions about Jason Line. I think there's some questions about the team and their personnel and what they're going to do, and I expect them to be very aggressive. 22 years ago, what's your memory there of the Bucs winning their first Super Bowl? Give me one.
It was a couple of things. The first, we were always used to having a week between. And here the Bucs basically had to almost get on a plane straight from Philadelphia and fly out to San Diego to Qualcomm.
Yes.
And there was no separate, no 2 weeks there. So it was great because Bucs fans, we felt like we belonged there, and we finally got to the top of that mountain. And we did belong there, but not having a week in between, not only did it take away from the time that Rich Gannon and the Raiders had to prepare, but it also let John Gruden his resolve across that defense when he told the guys exactly what the calls were going to be. And John Lynch talked about it in the Super Bowl highlights, calling the plays before they happened. So as much as I hated not having that extra week, because it was our first time in the big show, and they were talking today on ESPN about the fact that the Seahawks and the Patriots, the thing that being the guys in the big game means that you have to listen to all the pundits talk about your team for 2 weeks. We didn't have that in 2002, but I didn't mind it because this team was on a mission and they went out there and took care of it. So my memory of that year was as much as a celebration and the greatest moment, getting that first championship. It was getting what we knew we had coming, because we knew we had 4 Hall of Famers. We knew we had a great team here. So the memory was just as great as it was to get it. And I'll tell you what, Pete, I rambled a bit here, but thank you. But I'll go ahead and finish with this for anyone else who's listening. The biggest memory I have, because now that my dad's no longer here and we were watching the game and the things we did back then, is even in 2026, as we go into the new season, remember the people you're with and enjoy the moments you're having, enjoying your Buccaneers, because someday they'll be in the big luxury box above the stadium over there, Ray J. But that's the moments you want to have. Where were you at? Who was going to the bathroom? Who drank too much? Who hit too many nachos and cheese? Those are the memories you have, and maybe you'll make them for this year for the for the Patriots and the Seahawks. Probably not. But remember the people you're with, because you and I are here. We're here 23 years later, and we're talking about this because these are memories that we have and will have forever.
Great stuff. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. We'll see you soon here on The Evolution, my friend. All right?
Great show, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. All right. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Questions for the night. Zac Robinson hired as the new offensive coordinator of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucs fans, what do you think of it? Do you like the move? I told you I like the move. I think there is some pros and cons to it, right? Can they turn this offense around? You hear about pistol formation. Is he going to run a pistol formation here with the Bucs? Is it going to be solely based off of, scheme, or is it going to be plays or players? Are you going to build your offense around these players? That's the key. Can you get enough out of them? Can you turn around Baker Mayfield? Can you get this rushing offense back to top 10? Can you get the third down conversion? Because it's all about, situational football, right? The third down conversion has to turn around. Let's go out to Cole. Cole, CSB brother, 22 years tonight. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. Give me a memory. Welcome to the Evolution here on a Monday night.
Thanks, Peter. Now, the thing about that Super Bowl that I remember was that I remember the night of the NFC Championship game and the pick, and then the guy I had the season tickets with, because I had season tickets that year. He and I were like, okay, we were going to the Super Bowl. Let's go down to the stadium and meet the guys coming in. So we went and met the guys coming in after the NFC Championship game. But the thing I remember about that particular game was that I went to a buddy's house and they were all going to watch it. But he was married to, he was married to a woman who had a very, very young, like baby newborn. So I couldn't scream. I was listening to the game in headphones, and I yelled one time, just a little bit, and she's looked at me with a demon stare, you know what I mean? and so I was like, oh crap, I can't do it. I can't scream. So I was yes, all this, like whisper screams and whatnot. And and then when I walked out, I kid you not, when I walked out after we won, when I walked out, I got in my car and lived 5 minutes from the guy. And it took me 20 minutes to get home because of the traffic. And I was screaming and honking my horn so much that by the time I got home, I had already lost my voice.
I got a kind of story about that. I'm sitting there watching the game with the family at the time, and it was so loud there. And I think it got to the point of where it got so loud you couldn't even hear the play-by-play call because everybody in the house completely went nuts when Ronde Barber went back for 92 yards. And I'm watching the play, and I'm telling you right now, I'm running outside, and at the time it was cold. It was like 40, 50 degrees to a Floridian who's been there that's pretty cold,
Yes.
And I'm running down the street and just saying the Bucs are winning the Super Bowl because they got over the top. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm running down the street barefoot. And with a short a Bucs shirt on, not caring how cold it is, because at that point you went through so many years of misery. I just remember running down the street, everybody thinking I'm going crazy, and I'm like, the Bucs won, the Bucs are going to win, the Bucs beat Philadelphia, they're going to the Super Bowl. And I believe every Bucs fan, when they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, when they get over the top, when they're able to get over the hump, because there were so many years there that you couldn't get over the hump because you had, Tony Dungy, and you had all those problems with Donovan McNabb, no matter who he was throwing to in the defense, and
Kurt Warner too. Let's not forget.
Now,
Rams have been a bugaboo for us, even when we were good.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that, but especially the Eagles. I think a lot of Bucs fans.
At that point, it was the Eagles. At that point, it definitely was the Eagles.
And when the Bucs beat the Eagles, I think for every Bucs fan, they knew, as crazy as that sounded, that as soon as they beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, you were going to win the Super Bowl. No matter who you faced at the time, whether it was the Raiders or whoever else, you were going to beat them because you were able to get over the top and beat the Philadelphia Eagles, period.
And there were people questioning that because we're going against the MVP and the number one offense in the NFL.
Correct. Rich Gannon.
And not only that, but Jerry Rice is trying for like ring number 6 or something like that. It was insane.
Yep. And Tim Brown and Jerry Porter. I mean, they had someone, Charlie Gardner. I mean, they had some weapons on that team. It wasn't like they didn't have weapons.
They did, but I think what really helped us was there people. There are some people. Do you remember the center going off the reservation and not making it to
Barrett Robbins the night before? Gets ruled out, and you're starting to feel real good about it because you got a guy by the name of Warren Sapp who's in the middle, the greatest 3 technique of all time. He can take over games.
And Simeon Rice, I thought after the first quarter, I thought he was going to win the MVP.
He was unbelievable. He was unbelievable. He couldn't be blocked at that point. And you saw, and I always go back to this. The Bucs fans, they forget. You always talk about the secondary. You always talk about the linebackers, and they were good. But what you had at that point, what it was predicated on, was the pass rush ability, the pass rushing, the pressure on the quarterback. It just made everybody that much better, especially in the back end.
Yeah, you had Booger, who was no slouch of his own, and at the nose tackle, because by that point they had moved on from Culpepper, and Simeon Rice And
I believe he was injured.
Gosh,
I believe he was injured. It was Ellis Wims at the time.
Oh, it was Ellis Wims who started. That's right.
Yes, I got you, buddy. I got you.
That's right. You know, you were talking about all these quarterbacks, and I'm like, okay, Peter, don't forget about Chris Chandler. And then you busted out with Chris Chandler, and I was like, that's awesome, dude. That
I got you, brother.
Yeah.
I got you. It's a long-suffering Bucs fan. Yes.
You rub salt in the wound. You know, I told a friend of mine who's a big Baltimore fan, I said, listen, Baltimore had a better defense than the Bucs, and I'll tell you why. Because we only got to the NFC Championship with Trent Dilfer, and somehow you guys won the championship with Trent Dilfer. I was so disgusted. I mean, look, you know, Steve Young is a Hall of Famer, okay? It should have actually been Vinny Testaverde too, but you know, because of him being hurt. Remember they went to the AFC
Championship game with the New York Jets at the time. Yep, absolutely. Remember that?
Yeah.
Too? Against the Denver Broncos, right? Was it not the Denver Broncos in '98?
Right, it was. It was.
Yep.
It was. So I mean, we've been long suffering, and anybody who talks, I mean, I have that comment. And I'll go ahead and let you read it. But anybody who talks about Baker not being a franchise quarterback is nuts. Because I mean, if you've been around this team, around like Jack Thompson, the throwing Samoan, Chris Chandler as the great white hope, because you know he's the backup quarterback, and we all know the you know, if you have a crappy quarterback, the most popular guy on the team is the backup quarterback. So I just think, or unless you're a Gator fan, then you love Kyle Trask, but that's a whole different story. I mean, it's just, come on, you guys need to get some perspective, okay? Because some of us have been around for a while, okay?
A long time, yes, a long time.
Yeah.
Listen, I always tell people, you know, where's the why is there so much gray hair on my face at this point? It's all the years of watching Bucs football. You know, maybe it's relationships, but it's also years of watching Bucs football, which is a relationship in itself, my friend. Anything else here? You interested in Super Bowl 60?
I am, only because that whole controversy with the halftime show. I mean, like I would like to see Seattle win, but you know, I like Drake May. God help me, I do. I like Drake May, and so you know, I'd like to see Seattle win. But I was so glad for this matchup. I'm so glad for this matchup because I was rooting for both these teams to win so hard because, like I hate Sean Payton from all his years with New Orleans.
Yes.
And the you know, I have obvious hate for the Rams for three reasons.
Of course.
1979, 1999, and 2021. Let's not forget.
Oh, let's not forget that. All right, Cole.
Yeah.
CSB, brother. Appreciate you as always. Use that second call, my friend. All right.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, man. Good stuff. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Lots of Bucs fans want to talk tonight. Lots of Webhead fans want to talk tonight. Curtis, 22 years tonight. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. Where were you? Welcome to the Evolution.
Honestly, I was in jail.
Okay.
That's terrible.
That's all right. Did you watch the game at least?
Jail.
Did you watch the game?
I did watch the game.
You did watch the game.
I did watch the game, and I was super excited, and I was screaming at because where I was in it was a bunch of Raiders fans in there, and I was going nuts in there.
Imagine that. Yeah. People in jail, all Raiders fans. A lot of people feel like Raider fans should be in jail already, but that's
absolutely. I tell you what, and you know what?
Yes.
I'm gonna say this.
Yes.
Everybody talks about the '85 Bears,
yes.
The 2000 Ravens.
Agree. I know where you're going.
The 2013 Legion of Boom.
Mm-hmm.
They act like that 2002 Bucs defense team in general was not one of those teams that's like a top tier team.
I always say this, Curtis. 97 to what was it? 2008. I believe the Bucs were ranked 10th, and I talked to the great Ira Kaufman about this, the sage of Tampa Bay, a Joe Bucs fan, to say that the Bucs defense, not only that year, but could be the greatest defense of all time, right up there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's the difference between the Tampa Bay defense at that point compared to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Super Bowl championships. If you have a quarterback, if you have an offense, you win more than one Super Bowl. And I've said this and continue to say this, that this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense is not only one of the greatest defenses of all time that year and 2002, but through that whole period from 97 to 2008, the consistency, you look at it, even with losing a Warren Sapp, even with losing a John Lynch, you still had a Derek Brooks, you still had a Rondé Barber. They were still able to be top 10. That's an amazing thing.
Well,
at the end of the
this
day.
This is the one thing as Bucs fans people forget about. We got robbed against the Rams. The Bert Emanuel catch. Robbed.
I agree.
Because we would have, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be vulgar, but we would have beat the shit out of the Patriots in Super Bowl that year.
Well, it wasn't the Patriots, man. It was the Tennessee Titans and McNair, Steve McNair. Yes.
It was the Titans. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was McNair and Eddie George. And it was what, Kevin Dyson?
You had Kevin Dyson. That's correct. Yes. It was Frank Wycheck a part of that team too. Yes, he was.
I believe he was. Because that was the year of the Music City Miracle, right?
I'm not sure about that. Was Javon Curse on that team? I believe Javon Curse was on that team also. Was he not in 99?
Yep. Yes, he was.
Was he on that team? I think he was. I have to check.
Yeah, I think he was.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. That team was so well put together. That defense was so well put together. And the problem I hate to be a broken record, but we all knew it was the offense. Because Dramatica, you didn't have a problem with kicks. He barely ever missed.
He barely ever missed. You're exactly right about that. In the third play of the game, the Bucs took the ball from Kurt Warner again. Steve White. You're in business at that point, and you settle for a field goal, and that was the kind of game. And listen, credit to where credit is due, right? So the Rams at that point, they were 7th in the National Football League that year. They had Kevin Carter, Grant Winstrom. I mean, they had some players also defensively that did some good things against the Bucs. So they were no slouch either.
Yep. And here's the thing. Behind Tom Brady, where do you put Baker Mayfield at? All-time Bucs quarterback.
I mean, it's Tom Brady at this point. I mean, I think Doug Williams is in that conversation. Brad Johnson. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, Baker Mayfield, the numbers that he's put up, but you got to win a Super Bowl and being put in. And
obviously that's the ultimate goal.
Sure.
Not to change the subject, my hat goes off to Sam Darnold because this guy has battled to get to where he is.
Correct.
I basically look at him and Baker Mayfield. They basically had the same trajectory. I mean, how many teams has Sam Darnold played for?
Played for quite a few, right? The Jets he started out with. He plays for, of course, the Carolina Panthers with Baker Mayfield. Minnesota.
I think he said, didn't he go to San Fran for a year?
I thought he did go to San Fran. Yes, he did go to San Fran. I think he went to San Fran. He went to Minnesota. Minnesota's going to be kicking themselves. Who's worse right now? The Titans, are they kicking themselves, or the Minnesota Vikings with getting rid of him and going with the greatness that what never was in J.J. McCarthy?
Both.
Both. I mean, it could always be worse, Bucs fans. Trying to be the eternal optimist. It could always be worse. You could always be the Tennessee Titans or the Minnesota Vikings with your Super Bowl quarterback walking out the door there for a young quarterback. So,
and I look at it like this, and I hate to dwell on the season. Our season's over with. This team had opportunities. Now, did injuries suck? Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like a lot of our offensive game plans were terrible, and I feel like the defense was always on the field.
Right.
Always on the field. And I mean, those guys did what they could when they could, and that was it. So I mean, I don't know. I still got faith in this team. I'm afraid that we might lose a receiver next year. I don't know who it's going to be.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's so much. We got so much talent at receiver.
Well, it's not a bad thing because with all the injuries of this team, Curtis, appreciate the call. Use the second one if you want to, my friend. All right.
Yep.
All right, good stuff there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. We'll read these comments. We'll continue to talk about 22 years tonight. Where were you as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan? Love to hear those stories. We always talk about it, right? 22 years ago. Let's go out to Sun Devil Dave. All right, Sun Devil, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. 22 years tonight. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. They also hired Zac Robinson this week. Lots of things to talk about. And then Super Bowl 60. Do you care? Where do we start? How do we start off this show, my friend?
Well, first of all, thank you for wasting my time and goodbye forever.
There you go.
Excellent job tonight.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
Appreciate
there's a lot
that.
of things to go with. Number one, 2002, I was somewhere in Arizona watching the game. So Bucs, number one pass defense of all time, I believe. In the Ravens, I think it was number one run defense, 2000 Ravens. Also, one thing I want to talk about, someone that forgets about the great defense. Brad Johnson was a Pro Bowl quarterback, and his numbers, 22 TDs, 6 interceptions, 6.8 yards, 92.9 QBR, which is actually better than Brady's first 2 Super Bowls QBRs, which I think were around 88 or 89.
Wow.
So, I mean, he wasn't a bad quarterback.
No, he was not a bad quarterback. And it took him a while to get that offense, that John Gruden complex offense. It took him a while.
Right.
The offense somewhat struggled. Listen, they didn't have their first 100-yard rushing game until when? When Michael Pittman rushed for 100 yards in Super Bowl 37. That is a true story. So they had their fair share of problems. Johnson came on, especially the second half of the year. And you could tell he was the right quarterback for that system. At the end of it, again, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And at the time, he was dealing with an injury. I believe it was like broken ribs. I talked to him about this
I didn't know that.
last year. I think it's this year I talked to him about it. Have that interview with him. Yeah.
Well, let's not put, everyone always tries to bunch, Brad Johnson with Trent Dilfer is one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. That's not true. He had a great year that year.
Yes, he did.
And an extremely good year. And he wasn't a cast off. He managed the team well, but his stats proved it. For this Super Bowl, I got a couple names for it. We call it the long shot Super Bowl. Seahawks were 60-1 to go to Super Bowl this year.
How about that?
Pats were 80-1. Can you believe that?
How about that, huh? I mean,
Preseason.
Again, parity is prevalent. You just never know, right? And if it all comes together, if you get on a roll, if you have a defense, if you can run the ball, if you have a quarterback, good quarterback play, and listen, you have a locker room, a team that is buying in to that coach, a young defensive-minded coach. They're buying into it. You never know what's going to happen. And then you look at the New England Patriots, right? 4-13, and now they're headed to the Super Bowl. A great story. By the way, they played one of the easiest schedules of all time, not since the St. Louis Rams of 1999. And Bucs fans, you know this all too well with Kurt Warner, Dick Vermeil playing the easiest schedule at the time. Of course, the Rams won the Super Bowl. Not saying the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl.
It's not their fault.
Right.
You get an easy schedule when you have a lousy record.
You play who you play. But there's some type of luck to that. There's some type of advantage. You just never know, right? So we'll see what the Patriots will do next year when you play a first-place schedule. You see what Seattle will do when they play a first-place schedule. That's how things all change. That's why parity, again, is prevalent in the National Football League. What else, Sun Devil Dave?
It is. I think we could also call this the cast-off bowl. You have the first 2018 quarterback selected is in the Super Bowl, and it's not Josh Allen, and it's not Baker Mayfield. It's Sam Darnold, baby.
There you go, Sam
Can
Darnold.
You believe this?
Yes, I cannot believe it.
It's a great story.
It is.
And I know he was giving me slack, and people, and I think Steven Jackson, all these guys are coming out and they're saying, look, it's time to lay off Sam Darnold and give him his flowers and give him his props.
Yeah, absolutely.
What he did in Minnesota last year, what he did in Seattle this year, the great move that Seattle made to take him over Geno Smith. I mean, give the guy some props. Also, 2 more cast-offs helping out, Cooper Kupp and Diggs.
How about that, huh?
They were cast-offs too. And look what they're doing.
Killing his former team, the Rams. He hasn't been the same player ever since he got that big-time contract. Of course, moved on to Seattle. Yes. He's going back to a Super Bowl. Bucs fans know him. He's a Bucs killer. Everybody, I think Bucs fans hate him. And then, of course, Stephon Diggs, the disappointment, 13-second disappointment being with the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, having Kansas City right where you want him. Oh, no, you gave Patrick Mahomes too much time. That defense allowed him to have it. So good for Diggs. And with Cardi B, by the way, no Taylor Swift this year. You get Cardi B instead. How about that? How about that, entertainment fans?
It'll be I like Cardi B. She's kind of off the cuff. She says what's on her mind.
That's a little bit.
Just when she went off on Miley Cyrus.
There you go.
I remember that VMA Awards. It was out of control.
I don't think you're talking about Cardi B. You're actually talking about Nicki Minaj mouthing.
Oh no, I got to mix up Nicki. That was Nicki. Cardi B has more class.
Can't
I apologize. Cardi B was actually, I think it's SummerSlam, right? I got that right.
Yes, you got that right. Yes.
She was the SummerSlam.
Yes.
I got it.
All right. What
else? I'm a little bit bummed. I was trying to watch my Tampa Bay Lightning out here in the Valley, but I can't.
Why is that?
Because the Utah Mammoth has blackout rights in Arizona, New Mexico, and Idaho.
Oh, you gotta love that. I can't
watch on ESPN. So the Lightning did win, I believe, 2-0 or 2-1, I believe.
Oh, how about that?
The early game was a 5:00 game. Well, I'm in Mountain Time now.
Yes.
Out in the Valley. So I miss you guys, man.
Miss you
Hopefully
too, brother.
I'll see you guys maybe in November.
All right.
But I'm having a great time here. Real quick props out. I want to say UFC, we have 2 Arizona boys. One, Justin Gaethje, he's now the lightweight champ. He's from Safford. And
I watched
Sugar
that.
Sean O'Malley went to co-main. He's from Peoria, Arizona. So big shout out to UFC. Also tonight, if you have a chance to watch Raw, I know it's not Wednesday Turnbuckle Talk, but CM Punk is fighting AJ Styles for the title tonight. So big news there. CM Punk's a fighting champion, so I'm happy for that. Happy for AJ. I think he's going to do a retirement match, I think, next week. If he loses, he has to retire against Gunther. So,
well, there you
just want
go.
to throw that out there.
And it's in Saudi Arabia, right? The Royal Rumble, which is weird in itself.
It's going to be in Saudi Arabia, I think, Saturday night. I missed the whole Saturday night main event because I was too busy watching UFC, and I just couldn't get it all together. So
we got to get it together, my friend. Get it together here, Sun Devil
hey,
Dave.
Go
Bucs.
I think I'm going to go with a pick. I'll go Seattle. I like their defense. I think Seattle with Sam Darnold, a little bit more experience.
We got a
I
couple
like their
weeks.
Weapons. I think
Listen,
Mays is going to be, in his second year in the league. And I just think that Seattle's going to win.
You got a couple weeks to change your mind here. We'll talk about the game. We'll break it down. It's early. It's early yet. We haven't even got to Radio Row yet, which is my favorite part when they interview celebrities and everything else. All right, Sun Devil Dave.
All right. We'll keep in touch. I'll talk to you Wednesday.
All right.
Thank you for wasting my time. Goodbye forever. And also go Sun Devils.
All right. There you go. He's out. Good stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I'm like Bowles. I'm excited. There you go.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, Todd. Mike D. Roche's. Oh, Canada. NFL got their wish. Pats versus the Seahawks. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Are you interested in Super Bowl 60 webheads? Are you interested, football fans, in this Super Bowl? Why or why not? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Talk about the 50th season for the Seahawks, huh? Yeah, laugh out loud. How about that? David, uncertain quarterback play in Atlanta. We'll get back to Lavonte David in just a moment. Boy Wonder 1913 evening, Peter and crew. This will be KR. Happy Monday, buddy. I'm optimistic on the hire of Zac Robinson. I just hope he can bring back that magic that Baker had last season, the first half of the season. Agree with that. And listen, that's what you're going to be looking at, right? Where your quarterback goes is where you go. Let's talk about it, right? Drake May, the kind of season he had, people putting him in the MVP type of conversation. I don't think he's an MVP. I think he should be in consideration. Absolutely. Matt Stafford, as it pains me, playing for the LA Rams should most likely be the NFL MVP because you're going nowhere without him. But Drake May is a reason why the Patriots are in the Super Bowl right now because of his play. Maybe not necessarily in the playoffs because he's looked like a second-year quarterback. And then also, again, you got Sam Darnold. The story is he's continued to get better and better. He stopped turning over the ball, stopped making those decisions. This started in Minnesota. You got to be happy for him. And where your quarterback goes is where your team goes. So good stuff there, KR. Appreciate you. You're exactly right. You got to turn around Baker Mayfield. You got to keep him healthy. You got to keep him upright. You got to get healthy on that offensive line when it comes down to it. Let's go out to King Cook. I like the OC hire for our team. I'm just focused on what Light and Bowles will do in free agency in the draft now. And we got you covered. I mean, this is my season right here. This is Jason Light's season. This is the scout season. This is the sports web season. This is what we pay attention to. This is where we earn our money, if you will. And speaking of money, let's go out to one of our sponsors here, Tampa Joe's, 9316 Anderson Road. I don't know if we're going to be doing a Super Bowl watch party, but if you want to go and watch the Super Bowl, that's the place to be. Great food, great wings, great atmosphere. And next year we'll continue that relationship when it comes to, broadcasting USF football games there when they're away. And of course, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers away watch parties. The evolution of sports talk television is a part of it. And of course, to this sponsor right here, you can't forget my guys there at Up the Block Barbershop. Let's hear from them let's hear from me talking about Up the Block Barbershop. And we'll be back here on the evolution of sports talk television 22 years to the day for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning their first Super Bowl. Up the Block Barbershop. You don't have to go far. It's Up the Block Barbershop, 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida. Whether it's a haircut, a beard trim, a fade, they got you covered. Go see my favorite barber, Ricky, and all the great barbers there at Up the Block Barbershop. Tell them the Rolex reporter, Peter Blake, sent you. Again, it's Up the Block Barbershop, 4946 Moog Road. Let's go out to the phone lines. Broadway, you're on the evolution of sports talk television live here at Raymond James Stadium after your Bucs fall to 6-3. Go. All right, so there you go. Up the Block Barbershop. You don't have to go far. 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida. I definitely need a beard trim. I'm going to hold off on that because it's getting cold in Florida. I don't know if you check the temperatures. It's going to be pretty cold. So I like to keep my beard in check, keep it professional. Definitely go see my favorite barber, Ricky, and all the great barbers there at Up the Block Barbershop. And, of course, tell them the Rolex reporter, Peter Blake, sent you. So there you go. Now the advertisements are out of the way. We'll get back to the comments, or we won't get back to the comments because people want to call. They want to talk about Tampa Bay Buccaneer football. 22 years to the day your Tampa Bay Buccaneers win their first Super Bowl.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you?
Jim, welcome to the Sports Web here on a Monday night.
What's going on? Long time no talk to.
I know, man. You can't do that to me. You're one of the you're one of my favorite web heads on this show. Come on now, Jim.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Man, I've been busy, man. It's snowing out here. Gotta stay warm.
How much is it snowing out there, by the way?
Oh, how much? We got at least 12 inches, probably more. It was like 13, 14 inches.
I've never seen snow before. I like to experience that. You know, I'm a Floridian. I'm a Florida boy. I need to come up north sometime and experience the snow. Everybody's like, you don't want to experience. Yeah, I do. One time. I'm 47 years old. I want to see some snow. I don't care if it's 2 inches, 12 inches. I'm not digging out of it. People are like, get ready to. I ain't digging nothing. I just want to experience a little bit and then go on home to Florida again. But I want to experience. I've never seen snow before.
We had plenty of it for you.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I got to make my way up there.
Way out the driveway.
There you go. I got to come up to Ohio or Kentucky or some of those places, North Carolina, Georgia. I guess Georgia's getting snow. Everybody's getting snow right now besides Florida. Florida's like, we're not getting any snow. We're good.
Right.
Yeah. All right. What's on your mind?
All right. Hey, pray for Scott's family. His wife going through some blood pressure problems and stuff. So
who's going through some blood pressure problems?
Scott Broadway.
Oh, Broadway. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, prayers to him and his family. That's not good.
Yeah, I've been talking to him ever since we started talking on the sports web.
Well, there you go.
Made a friend out of me and Scott.
You found a friend in me. There you go. That's what it's all about here. Tampa Bay sports fans unite here. Webheads unite. You got to love that. I love to hear that.
All right. Hey, let's talk about our Buccaneers, man. I'm glad that we got an offensive coordinator.
Okay.
You know, I ain't never been a couch GM or couch coach. So hopefully
you're not a Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, no, we ain't doing that.
No.
I let my team do his team thing, and that's how they get to pay the big bucks. I ain't there with them. So
you like Zac Robinson? You like that hire?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Okay, all right.
He was beating us up last year in AT. He didn't have a good quarterback, and he was beating us up.
Yeah, you got to keep him healthy. You keep him healthy. He's definitely a lot better than an unhealthy Michael Penix, and of course a broken down Kirk Cousins. I shouldn't say that because every time I do say that, Kirk Cousins throws for another 350 to 400 yards on the Bucs defense. I gotta stop that stuff. You got to stop that stuff real quick.
Do you think we're gonna try to get an offensive lineman to help through the draft or either free agency?
I don't think it's a big time need. I think what you gotta put the big guys up front. Big guy like you, right? Can you play defensive tackle? Can you play edge at this point, Jim? That's the kind of players that you need on this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. You need to address the linebacking situation, at least two of them, and then you need to go for an edge rusher. You need to go defense, and that's it. Offense, I think, is set. Maybe you get some depth pieces on the offensive line. Maybe there's a running back in there you can get in later rounds, but besides that, it's defense for me.
All right, but hopefully they get a good draft and a good free agency for the defense. Yeah, but I probably played defensive line through school. I don't know if I got the step like I used to.
Well, we got to suit you up then. A lot better step than some people. Just don't.
Right.
You lost a step. Have you lost a step at this point? We gotta suit you up. We need some beef up there on that line, my friend.
I get out there, they pay.
I think we all will.
Them days are almost over with for me. So
okay, I got you, brother.
I was doing all the years of truck driving. Now I got sciatica a little bit.
We all got sciatica, man. It's called old age. That's what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
47, it's old age. Get up in the morning, it's old age. That's sciatica. It's back pain, whatever it is. It's a pain.
Right.
Yes. All right,
man. I hope we have a great season, man. What you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to the Super Bowl?
Again, just being a football fan, I don't know if I'm looking forward to it, but I like to see Seattle win. I like to see a good game. You never want to see a blowout. You want to see a competitive, and it may be a competitive game. I still think it favors Seattle and their defense. Their defense is really good. They got some offensive weapons there, especially the young kid from Ohio State in the same mold as Emeka Egbuka and I can't pronounce his name now. His name escapes me. Najigba. Yeah. So yes. So it's early in the process, but yes. Yes, Jackson.
Name, right? I think that's his last name.
Najigba. I can't. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup, their offense versus the Patriots defense. This is not great. It's okay. Their offense is okay. I just think it favors Seattle, but I'm curious to see the matchup. I'm curious to see what happens because you never know. It may be a great game and maybe all Seattle. Who knows? Maybe New England surprises everybody. I doubt it, but they're both well-coached teams. You can see that. They're both very young teams. And they're led by quarterbacks that are pretty entertaining to watch. So I'm interested in it. Probably not as interested, of course, in most years because the Bucs are not in it. But you're a football fan. You're always interested in the Super Bowl, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tune in.
Okay. All right. What else?
Man, I just want to say, man, I hope the Bucs have a good year. And hopefully we get be tuning in for the draft and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be following in the sports web. You know me. I'll be around.
We got you covered, man. When it comes to free agency and the draft and all the rumors, we got you covered here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Jim, appreciate the time. Use the second call if you want to, my friend. All right.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right, good stuff. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 on a Monday night here. 22 years to the day your Tampa Bay Buccaneers win their first Super Bowl. Where were you? Give me some stories. What do you think about Zac Robinson being the new offensive coordinator of the Bucs? Some comments from Bruce Arians. Let's get into that, and then we'll get back to these comments. And he says this was on the Kay Adams show on FanDuel Network. I believe it's Up and Adams. I don't know about Mike talking about Mike Evans. This is BA, but I think Lavonte probably is going to retire. I never count him out. He goes back every year and sees how he's feeling. The guy is amazing. He just stays in great shape. I'd be shocked if Mike retires. And then with that being said, with Mike Evans, because he's a free agent, so all eyes will be on Tampa once again. Will he move on? Will he stay with the Bucs? I think he stays with the Bucs. Don't tell Pro Football Focus that because they have their crystal ball ready and they're ready to make some Bucs fans mad. In fact, according to Pro Football Focus's Mason Cameron, he says, while questions linger surrounding Mike Evans' possible retirement, there's no question that the 32-year-old wideout can still produce when he's on the field. Although injuries derailed his 2025 campaign, Evans posted the fourth highest Pro Football Focus grade, 89.0, among receivers in 2024. He remains a highly efficient pass catcher at his 2.21 yards per route over the past two seasons, ranks in the top 15. The Buffalo Bills, lack quality depth at outside receiver, limiting their offensive output, particularly when injuries mounted late in the year. Add into the limited capability to stretch the field vertically, recording the 6th fewest receptions on throws of 20 or more yards, and Evans profiles as a strong upgrade to Josh Allen's core of weapons. And I don't think that Josh Allen has the weapons. When you're depending on Keon Coleman, who's been atrocious, and he looks like he's going to be a quarterback bust, you would go for a Mike Evans. So I guess it's the two questions are out there right now, along with the others that we asked during the show. First and foremost, what do you think about Zac Robinson as the new offensive coordinator for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Where were you 22 years tonight when the Bucs won their first Super Bowl? Do you think Lavonte David is going to retire? BA maybe giving something away. He is the senior. He's in that building, right? He knows. Kind of knows what's going on. So did he give it away? Is Lavonte David going to retire? And Mike Evans, do you think he moves on? Could the Bucs move on from him? Could he join the Buffalo Bills? We heard about in the past, just a couple of years ago, the Kansas City Chiefs. We actually learned he could have took more money with the Houston Texans, and he did not. He stayed with the Bucs. Or do you think it's much to do about nothing, and he ends up in a Bucs uniform? Let's go out to Brightside Broadway, I believe. Brightside, welcome to the Evolution.
Thank you, Peter. I figured I'd call in because Jim was talking about me.
Well, prayers out to you and your family, my friend. How you doing tonight?
Thanks. I'm doing good. It's my wife.
Your wife.
But she's doing a little bit better.
Okay. Well, good, man. I'm glad to hear that. Good to hear, man. Good to hear.
She always likes to hear your commentary when they get to talking about firing Todd Bowles. She laughs every time you give your synopsis and totally agrees with you. So she said thank you for your prayers.
Well, she's a smart lady because she's with you, and of course she watches the show and laughs at and she understands what I'm saying. So that's a good thing, my friend. That's good stuff.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I just want to say I am excited for next season, and 22 years ago is why I'm excited.
And what were you in 22 years ago, my friend?
Because the Bucs won with Rondé Barber, Warren Sapp, and Derek Brooks. And they are some of my favorite players. And I cannot tell you how much it means to me that they won that year.
Well, it was a wild year, my friend.
Yes, it is. People forget so easily what we've been through. But I think with changes and with new things and with Zac Robinson, we have a chance to not only go to the playoffs, but win a Super Bowl championship next year.
Wow.
If we make the right decisions in the draft.
I definitely think it's congruent, if you will, on what they do and how aggressive they're going to be when it comes to free agency and, of course, the draft. And you're going to definitely have to fill talent at those positions of linebacker and edge rusher. Agree with that. And your offense has to return to prominence. You have to become a top 5, a top 10 offense. Your quarterback has to get back to it because, again, where your quarterback goes is where this team goes. Agree with that, Brightside?
I do. And I don't agree with trading Cade Otton. I like Cade Otton. I think he's got a lot of growth, and I think he needs to be set up more like he was at the end of the season this year.
All right. Good stuff, Brightside. Anything else here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television?
Love you, brother, and Harry, get better soon.
All right. Love you too, brother. Hope your wife gets better. Good stuff there. Appreciate it. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Call after call after call after call. You got to love it. Comment after comment. We'll read these comments. Appreciate you tuning in here live on Facebook, live on LinkedIn Live, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, what they call it X. I guess it's X now. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. As always, again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. I promise to follow back. Like, follow, and share the evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right. I like the OC hire for our team. I'm just focused on what Light and Bowles will do in free agency in the draft now. Agree with that. Let's go out to Lamar. Aloha, brother Peter H. Blake. Thank you very much for tuning in as always.
Oh, yeah.
Bright side, we just heard from you.
Yes.
Let's go out to Christopher Cole here. Zac Robinson will have better weapons than the Falcons besides Bijan Robinson. Agree with that. Listen, they have Drake London and have Bijan Robinson. What else do they have? Mooney can't stay healthy. What else? Kyle Pitts, inconsistent besides when he plays the Bucs, right? So much better weapons here. Much better weapons, especially if you can stay healthy, especially at that wide receiving position. And, of course, the running back situation. But the offensive line has to get healthy. You have to have that offensive line. You can't be reshuffling offensive linemen in and out. You can't have different alignments. That's going to hurt a team. Yeah, it's all about the consistency. We always talk about consistency, continuity with the organization. It's the same thing with the offensive line. Dad always taught me it's about the offensive line and gelling together and staying together. That's the reason why the Bucs for years there, especially in that Super Bowl year, those players played together, meaning the first year there with Brady, not the one that we're talking about tonight, the 22 years. They did have some reshuffling there. Let's go out to Sun Devil Dave. I don't think Zac Robinson is a mediocre offensive coordinator. Falcons have been ranked 5th or 6th in total offense in 2024, 14th overall this year. And also their running game stayed consistent from the first year he was there to the second year. So good things to consider. And especially with, this Bucs offensive line, this Bucs running attack, you got to keep Bucky Irving healthy. Yeah, and you got to return to prominence when it comes to that running game because it's a big part. And he's definitely going to run. He seems like a running coach. Ran with Bijan Robinson. I think he'll do the same there. Who's going to be the second back besides Bucky? Is it going to be Sean Tucker? Is it going to be somebody else? Maybe a Tyler Algier, who's a free agent. He's going to get some interest. He's going to cost some money. Are the Bucs going to spend the money? Are they going to connect the dots? You're going to draft somebody in the later rounds. You know what I feel, how I feel about it. What about you? 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Here's Oscar Leon. Thank you very much right there. Hey, what's up? What's good with you? Thanks a lot for joining us here on the Evolution of New Webhead.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to King Cook there on YouTube. Definitely the greatest defense of all time that doesn't get the proper respect. We were dominant for many consecutive years in a row. Exactly. You're speaking my language right now. I think we should try to make a run for Pitts to solidify our offense because Baker likes to throw to the tight end and he can't get us the extra yards needed. Just saying. Oscar says, hey, Peter, what do you think of the number one thing the Bucs should address on defense and offense? Number one thing, edge rusher. You got to get after it, right? We talk about the 22 years tonight, winning the Super Bowl. What did you have? You had pass rush. It was all predicated on the pass rush. You got to get back to that. You got to get after the quarterback like the good defenses do in the league. Let's go out to Ed. Ed, welcome to the Evolution. 22 years tonight. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. Where were you? Give me a story. And what do you think about Zac Robinson as the new offensive coordinator? Welcome to the Sports Web on a Monday night.
Where was I? I wasn't with you. I think that was the last Super Bowl we had.
That is correct. So you were not with me. No, but the 22
yeah, then I was
years
at
ago.
home probably watching the game and getting very emotional because I've been a fan of the Bucs since the beginning.
Okay.
And to see them get to that was just an emotional moment for me. I was probably crying.
You were probably crying, right? Like a lot of Bucs fans that night. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. So, anyways, but it was just as exciting to see them win again. There ain't no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
And as far as the new offensive coordinator, I think it was a good move. I think it was the only move, really, you can make with the current situation. But going into the draft, I'm not really worried about that.
Okay.
I'm just worried about free agency because he is really good with the draft, Jason Light, but free agency hasn't been too kind to him lately.
Well, I think you got to get more aggressive in free agency, which means you got to spend more money. You've tried to, listen, everybody liked the Hassan Reddick move. It was $14 million. He was a double-digit sacker. I thought it was going to work out. It didn't necessarily work out. But if you have an opportunity to get a Trey Hendrickson, if you have an opportunity to spend some money on one of the top linebackers, which there are a couple top linebackers out there, the Bucs should definitely be interested in free agency. You got to put the money on the table, as my father would say, and get these players in here no matter what happens. You got to get aggressive because at this point, again, it's about what? Applying pressure, not feeling it.
Right. And anyways, yeah, I'm just worried about his movements that he makes during free agency. I mean, it was an attractive move to get Hassan Reddick. But you know what? I'd like to see them make a trade and get Max Crosby.
Well, that's something that's been talked about on this show. You know how I feel about it. Give up multiple picks. Jason Powers on Sports Podcast. We'll try to get him on Wednesday. Was planning to get him on tonight, but my man had to go out, shop, cook dinner. That's what you got to do as an adult, and you didn't get a chance to see the message there. So hopefully whatever you cooked, it was great, and hopefully we get you on Wednesday night. But he put it out there. Jalen McMillan, are you trading to Jalen McMillan along with multiple picks to go out and get a Max Crosby? I don't know about a McMillan. I don't know who you trade at that point.
Yeah, I don't want to let McMillan go,
I don't
especially
either.
when we have a possibility of not having Mike Evans next year. Yeah, I don't think that would be a good idea to let any of our wide receivers go.
Okay.
Maybe some of our defense, you let them go because they didn't do very much last year. It can't hurt, but. I see that Lavonte David's probably going to retire. I'm praying every night that we get Mike Evans back. I don't know.
Do you think do you think the Bucs are not going to be able to re-sign him? Do you think Mike Evans may move on? Do you have some concern there with that?
Well, I have some concern because he always asks for big money, but he also gives it back when it's needed. So.
Well, he's taken less money, actually. He hasn't asked for big money. He's taken less money. He could have more money. He could have got more money from the Houston Texans, and he passed on it and came back to the Bucs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, too. But he does give a lot of money back, though. He signs a deal.
He's restructured
and
deals,
then he restructures his deal and gives money back.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. But anyways, they need to go ahead and go all in next year because our players are starting to get up there. I mean, we got some guys that are on the bubble to retire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Lavonte David coming back based on his body language during his all-season press conference. It don't look like he wants to come back. But I could be wrong. Hopefully, I am because he's a good player. I mean, if anything, he would be good to have just to have leadership in that room,
Mm.
And Mike Evans, the way he was talking during his exit interview, it was kind of scary.
No, I think Evans more than anything else. I think Lavonte David, 36 years old, I think he could be done. It certainly seems like he could be done at this point. I think it also would depend on what the Bucs do if he feels like the Bucs are still in contention. And even then, as we said, he's 36 years old. He's not necessarily the same player, so you're going to have to address that situation. But let's say he feels like the Bucs are in contention and they're on their way to not only winning the South again, but possibly being a Super Bowl contender. I think he would consider coming back if he wanted to. Mike Evans, I could see 2 or 3 more years in him. I'm not concerned about Mike Evans. He's 31 years old. He was injured last year. He has something to prove here. He still has something in the tank. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. I think it's just ridiculous to talk about this every year prediction. I think he's going to be a Buck for life. He's one of those players for me. Rondé Barber comes to mind. Derek Brooks come to mind. And Mike Evans comes to mind as one of the greatest Buccaneers of all time, if not one of the greatest Buccaneers, if not the greatest Buccaneer of all time. He may go down as that. I think he stays with the Bucs, in my opinion. What else?
I think he retires. I'm hoping he retires with the Bucs because I think he deserves it. And I hope he ends up in the Ring of Honor because he definitely deserves that.
Well, definitely be in the Ring of Honor by far. Come on, that's not even a question at this point. He's definitely in the Ring of Honor. Come on. You have a Bucs Ring of Honor. You don't have Mike Evans in it. You don't have a Ring of Honor. Let's just put that out there. Okay?
Exactly.
Okay. Then.
Exactly.
Okay. Then.
Lavonte David needs to be in the Ring of Honor.
He probably will be in the Ring of Honor. That's definitely one of those players also. What else, Ed? You interested in Super Bowl 60?
I'll probably be working, but I might put it on. I have a TV at work I can put on. So,
Working. What are you doing working on a Sunday night during the Super Bowl? What are you doing, my friend?
Dude, I work 7 days a week. I just have a fascination with making a lot of money.
Well, there you go. That's a great fascination. It's a great priority, but again, take that day off because listen, I agree. I threw this out there. Ed, appreciate the call as always. I want to jump on this. Because this was put out here a couple of years ago by the commissioner. He's right on. The Super Bowl should be Super Bowl Saturday so everybody can recuperate from all the partying. You can get over the fact that there's going to be no football on that Sunday, and then you get the chance to go back on Monday and you feel good about it. Instead of having Super Bowl Sunday and having to realize when you get up that Monday, there's no more football. I think it should be Super Bowl Saturday. What do you think about that? Do you have an interest in Super Bowl 60? Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. That is the toughest part about this time of the year. Like there's an excitement. You want to see who the world champion's going to be. But then when the game's over with, when the halftime show is over with, when all the ceremony is over with, everybody starts out 0-0 again. But you have to wait for another 6 to 7 months for football to start over again. That's the most depressing part about going from Super Bowl Sunday. And I know you people out there, you like to party a little bit. You like to eat the chicken wings. I do too. You like to eat all the fatty food. Love it. You also like to drink a little bit, and then you're kind of hung over the next day. And it's not even, the alcohol hangover. It's the fact of having no football of the next 6 months. So I think it should be Super Bowl Saturday. You get to recuperate on Sunday, and then you realize going into the Monday instead of, again, getting up on that Monday and realizing there's no Super Bowl, or then there's no football for the next 6 to 8 months. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's talk about Sean King. He didn't have a lot of great things to say about Baker Mayfield. Of course, we talked about Baker Mayfield, his comments about Kevin Stefanski. How that kind of pumped up a lot of Bucs fans. Sean King didn't appreciate Baker Mayfield's comments. Of course, former Bucs quarterback, taking them all the way to the 99 NFC Championship game versus the hated St. Louis Rams, as we mentioned them tonight. He says, we just lost 8 out of our last 9 games. And this is from our friends there, Joe Bucs fan. The Bucs actually lost only 7 of their last 9 games. Let's not get carried away. Baker has been deaf, dumb, and stupid ever since he thought he was on the MVP hunt after week 4 or 5. And King says, I am a Baker fan. You heard me say, and Baker we trust all the time. Baker, you need to get it together, dog. We just lost 7 of 9 games, Baker. So that's Sean King and his opinion of Baker Mayfield in the comments. I like the comments. And you know what? All right, Ed, you call me back here. What's up?
I forgot to mention that Gene Deckerhall passed away.
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
No. Who said that? Gene Deckerhall passed away? No, he didn't. Who said that?
On Facebook.
Yeah, you got to watch the Facebook nonsense there. That's AI garbage. Come on.
Why are they saying stuff like that about people?
You got to watch it. You got to check the sources, dude.
Well, they got me that time.
No, Gene Deckerhoff didn't pass away. Come on. All right, that's enough of you. Get out of here. All right, appreciate the call. Come on, man. AI. Everybody just just enthralled with AI. Check the sources. Check 2 sources. I always got told that. Something. If you think there's something going on, not only check Facebook, but check another social media platform. If it's not out there, most likely it's fake. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Always talk to my mother about this. She always, sends me this nonsensical AI. Love her to death. She's always into football, watching Bucs football, always trying to send me something, maybe scoop me, if you will. And I always tell her, unless I report on it, most likely it's not true. Let's go out to Alex. Alex, welcome to the Evolution.
If it ain't Peter Blake posting on the sports web, any reports are false.
There you go. That's what I tell my mother all the time. She shakes her head.
Let's go, baby.
She says, "You don't know everything. What are you talking about?" I'm saying this is fake. This is AI. Ed.
AI nonsense.
Yes. Nonsensical.
Listen, you would know if the man really passed away.
I would listen. We would have. We would be talking.
We would
about
have a breaking show for it because he's a legend.
Yes, he's a
but
legend.
Anyway, Peter, happy Monday. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good. So what are we talking about tonight? Talking about the Bucs OC stuff?
Well, here's what we're talking about. We'll reset it for everybody out there that's not listening. We'll get out to the comments. I promise. Stay patient. I will read your comments. I do appreciate it, but we got phone calls. 22 years tonight, the Bucs won the Super Bowl. Where were you? Their first Super Bowl versus the Raiders there, 48-21. What do you think about Zac Robinson being the new offensive coordinator? Here's one for you. What do you think about Super Bowl 60? BA says that Lavonte David is going to retire, and Pro Football Focus has a prediction that Mike Evans ends up with the Buffalo Bills. Where do you want to start? Go ahead, Alex.
All right. Well, let me answer everything you just said in about 3 minutes. Number one, starting with Mike Evans. Mike Evans is not leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's going to reject every single offer because he's a true legend. And he loves Tampa Bay. And Mike Evans has already made it known that it doesn't matter what dollar amount you offer this man, he's going to stay with Tampa Bay till the day he retires.
Mm-hmm.
Lavonte David, I see Lavonte David retiring. Maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of good sources out there that say maybe, go year by year. I think he's 32, 33 right now. Lavonte David is
36.
So 36.
Yeah, 36.
Well, listen.
Man.
Being a defensive tackle or being a tackle in general does a lot of wear and tear than most positions, in the NFL because, you're tackling you full time. You're putting a lot of stuff on your body, like Mike Evans. Everyone thinks Mike Evans might retire. Now he's 32. I think he's 32 now, but Mike Evans doesn't have to tackle every day. He's a wide receiver. He catches a ball. He takes a hit here and there, but overall, I think Mike comes back. I think Mike Evans comes back. Lavonte David is an iffy, but I would love to see him give out one more year as a Buccaneer.
I think a lot of Bucs fans would like to
go out
see
on
that.
a better note than what I think he deserves to go out on a better record than the way the Bucs ended the season.
Okay.
He deserves it. So I'll say maybe, but Zac Robinson, going back to your next thing, offensive coordinator.
Yep.
I think it's a great pick because of what's out there right now. Not the best pick.
Why not the best pick?
I would have liked McDaniels, but I don't know.
Not McDaniels.
I don't know. I just have a bad salty taste on our last offensive coordinator in Gizzard, and I feel bad for Baker. This is his 4th straight years of the new offensive coordinator. That's tough.
I believe it's his 10th offensive coordinator in his career. It's crazy.
That's tough. That's tough. But hey,
yes,
Baker showed that he can adapt and he can adjust. You're going to see a lot of pistol formation with Zac Robinson. So we're going to see how that works out. But like I told you the other week, get that offensive line healthy, and I think the offense is going to look way more better than what you saw in the second half of the season. But listen, what was the other thing that you asked about?
Are you interested in Super Bowl 60?
Where's the Super Bowl 60?
Well, Super Bowl 60 is between the Seattle Seahawks and
the
the New England
I
Patriots.
can't believe we already had 60.
We're at 60.
I thought it was like 59 right now.
Well, no, it's 60.
Yeah, man, my God, it's already been
Bucs
5 years since the
155.
Bucs won the last.
Yes, it has been. It's
5
been
years.
22 years, by the way. The Bucs won their first Super Bowl. Did you know
Wow,
that?
hey, crazy time flies.
How old were you
years
at
ago
22?
today, right?
How old were you 22 years ago?
I was 10 years old because I'm 32 right now.
Jesus, you were 10 years old. Do you have a memory?
10
about
years
the
old, and I
Bucs?
was living in Louisville, Kentucky at the time, and I didn't know anything about Bucs football.
Well, see, at least you're honest. There you go.
But no, what was the last thing I was going to talk about?
Super Bowl 60.
Super Bowl 60. Listen, what a crazy weekend in the NFC and AFC championship matchups. I did not think the Broncos were going to keep it as close as they did. I promise you, if Bo Nix was playing that game, promise you that the Denver Broncos are in the Super Bowl easily.
They might be, because that defense definitely, kept them in the game. It's a shame that Nix went out with an injury, but that's the National Football League, right? Not for long.
But hats off to oh, my mind just went.
Jared Stidham.
No, the Denver head coach.
Sean Payton, Mr. Sourpuss.
Sean Payton.
Yes.
Sean Payton. He used to coach the Saints for so long.
Yes.
Dude, what a great head coach. Listen, I don't want to sit here and go on head coaches here tonight, but
yeah, please don't.
I won't. But you got to give credit where credit's due. First year, second year, hell of way to come back, and even oh my God, Peter, I've lost my mind tonight.
I see that, man. I hear that. I thought that a long time ago about you. Every time you call this show.
With the Patriots, head coach, come on, help me out.
Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel.
Yes.
Got dumped by Tennessee earlier this year.
Yes.
Proved him wrong. The Titans dumped him off like he was the problem.
Yes.
Went to New England, had to learn a whole new system. Came back in first year after being dumped in the middle of a season, Peter. About to potentially be Super Bowl champions, man.
Honestly, who feels worse at this point? And they'll throw this question out there: the Tennessee Titans with getting rid of him and seeing him in the Super Bowl, or the Minnesota Vikings with letting him go for the ungreatness of J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, who has not worked out at this point. Who do you think feels worse?
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Listen, you could be those teams, right? You could be the Tennessee Titans, which are god awful, which continue to hire and fire coaches, which once again, a lot of Bucs fans would like to see their organization become that. That's why I say that's why you keep.
And by the way, and Peter, they will. It's going to take time, but I really do think for the Bucs going into this next year, I think they're going to see a year. I think next year is going to be a completely different attitude and vibe within this organization. I do think Todd Bowles and Jason Light is in the hot seat this year, though. And I'm not saying that because I have anything against any of these two dudes, but I think this year you're going to see Jason Light do a lot of studying going into the draft, especially within that defense. There's multiple issues throughout that defense, especially on the pass rushing side of things. But I think Jason Light, especially, I'll make a prediction. I think Jason Light more than Todd Bowles is on the hot seat. I'll make it known. I've never said it on the sports web, but I'll make it known. I overall think Todd Bowles has done a great job. It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to battle through a season with as many injuries, just on the injury side alone, that this man had to work through all season long. But I will say that on the draft side of things, the Bucs have been awful. I mean, I showed you earlier in the season where I think that Todd Bowles is calling the correct defense, but unfortunately that Jason Light just doesn't have the talent to play that defense. And that's on your GM. So, hey, listen, I think he's in the hot seat this year, but talking about these other head coaches, Peter, hats off to Mike Vrabel and those Patriots, man. I'm not going to lie, though. I ain't going to lie. I got my bet. Hey, listen, I wish Harry the Greek was on here tonight. I was messaging this weekend. I hit big this weekend on a lot of parlays. And, man, I was having a little bit with Harry the Greek. I love that dude. I wish he was here tonight. But, dude, I had a great weekend, and I got all of my bets on Seattle. And the reason why I picked Seattle is because they are just a red-hot team. They look good in all phases. Even the Rams were a tough battle, but, I think Matthew Stafford and that offense had, just had a couple mishaps. But
their defense couldn't stop them. Their defense couldn't stop Seattle. Every time, listen, the Rams, every time they made a surge there, they made a move to get back in the game, Seattle would answer. That's a good team. That's a great team finding a way to win. Yeah, so.
Great coaching, but I do have the Seahawks on the edge over the Pats. I just think the Seahawks. I think their defense is great, and I just have them on the edge just because of the defense alone. So, hey, great Super Bowl 60, going to be a great matchup. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing either teams win. I know Bucs fans are salty about the Patriots, but I'm rooting for either team. But when I first got into the NFL, I started watching football. I was a Seahawks fan. If you go back about 15 years ago, before I became a Bucs fan, I was a Seahawks fan because my brother was a diehard Seahawks fan. So I'm rooting for them. I think they have a great coaching staff. And dude, I think after the Super Bowl, we'll be talking about a lot of great coaches that should be, in my opinion, I guess you can call it Coach of the Year. But
all right.
I mean, they're out there. Tennessee, New England. Not Tennessee, New England, the Seahawks.
Yes.
These coaches that turn organizations around, the Broncos, all these head coaches that really did a great job. But listen, Peter, thank you so much for letting me call in. I was on the spot. I just, what, I'm going to call in and see what's going on tonight on Sports Web.
Got you, brother. Appreciate you as always.
Great work. See you guys on Wednesday. And if you don't, like and subscribe. The best sports talk show in Tampa Bay. God bless.
God bless you, brother. Appreciate you. He killed it as always. All right, we'll read the rest of these comments. I don't mind taking phone callers because they've been back to back tonight because I love that. I love talking to you Bucs fans. I love talking to you web heads here on the Sports Web. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Liam Cohen is a snake. Word playoffs don't hit as much when the Bucs ain't in it. We have to go get it back. I agree. Lamar says, I was 16 years old watching our Bucs run over the Raiders with one of my older foster brothers at his friends in the backyard under shelter while driving Cava and eating barbecue. Man, it was a game. I bet the Bucs would win for a lowrider cruiser bike. And if I lost, I would do 2 days of work with my brother who worked for the city doing landscaping. Yes, I got my lowrider Schwinn cruiser. That is a great story. Love that. You got to love that, right, Gene?
Fire the cannon!
Absolutely fire those cannons. We kicked the Raiders' asses in the Super Bowl. All the talk that week was about Charlie Gardner, the X Factor, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown. By the way, Tim Brown was nearly traded to the Bucs in the mid-'80s. Did you know that? He was on the trade block at that point. Didn't get traded, of course. Will get his first ring, and Jerry Rice will get another. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Go Bucs.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, Todd.
Fire the cannon.
All right, Byron.
How about them Bucs, baby?
All right, go Bucs. There you go, right there. Good stuff. Love it. That's what real Bucs fans always keep in proper perspective. A lot of us have seen our team win 2 Super Bowls. A lot of the fans can't say that. Hello, Atlanta Falcons. Hello, Detroit Lions. Hello, New York Jets. So they won 1, but when was that? Joe Namath was 69, 70. How would you like to be a Jets fan? How would you like to be a Lions fan? How would you like to be a Falcons fan? How would you like to be a Titans fan at this point? Guess what? You're not. You are Bucs fans. Never forget that. 2 Super Bowls. Undefeated. In dominating fashion, by the way. Dominated the number 1 offense in the Raiders 22 years tonight. 48-21. Dexter Jackson, the MVP. Michael Pittman over 100 rushing yards. First time all year long. It was amazing. It all came together. And, of course, Derrick Brooks, the Defensive Player of the Year. Who's my favorite player? Mr. Derrick Brooks. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Alex, using your second call.
Yes. I forgot to mention one thing.
Yes.
Don't forget. I know sometimes I like to switch gears a little bit. Don't forget that the Tampa Bay Lightning shut out Utah tonight 2-0.
Yes, the Lightning did win tonight. They lost on Saturday night, a high-scoring affair where defense was optional, 8-5 to Columbus. But they win tonight. The Lightning continue this tremendous season, and we'll have
we are so close to talking baseball soon. So hopefully, we start spring training in a couple weeks. So hopefully, we'll have a chance after this Super Bowl to switch gears a little bit, talk some baseball and hockey
We
too.
always have a chance here on the Sports Web.
you
know.
That's why you're the best, brother. But anyway,
All right, man.
I just wanted to call and say, go Bolts, go Bucks, go Rays, and God bless again. See ya.
God bless you, and the check is in the mail. Yes, I love when he says, "You're great at your job." I love that. That's what we do on Monday night. You guys pump me up. Yeah, I always say Mondays are kind of. It was a good day today at work. I'm not gonna lie. Like I killed it again. I killed it on Friday. Smart Financial, and I killed it today. And guess what? I'm going to kill it all week long. But Mondays are kind of, again, getting back to work, getting back into the swing of things, kind of tired. The weekends, they seem like they're not as long because I probably work all weekend instead of rest like I should. So Mondays are always tough, but you guys pump me up. Wednesdays now, we're ready to go. I think this has been a good show, though. Whether we had Harry the Greek, any guests, we had your calls tonight, we had some great memories. 22 years to the day your Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. How about that? 22 years. Has it been that long? Am I that old, ladies and gentlemen? I guess I am. So we put that question out there. What do you think of Zac Robinson, the hiring for him to be the new offensive coordinator? Lavonte David, BA says Lavonte David could be retired, is done. What do you think? Mike Evans, no. But Pro Football Focus predicts that Mike Evans could be going to the Buffalo Bills. Any concern at this point? Sean King had some comments, not necessarily great comments about Baker Mayfield. Let's go on to this, and then we'll get back to the comments in just a moment. This from our friends at WDAE. Booger McFarland on with the drives. T-Kraz there. Great show they do there. I think the entire team has a lot to prove, not just Todd Bowles, Jason. Like, that's a building that has a lot to prove. I think the Glazers gave them a vote of confidence by bringing Todd and Jason back. I think now, based on that vote of confidence, it should be a very pissed off building. That building has a lot to prove from general manager all the way down. He also goes on to say this. I think when you look, if the NFL has not taught us one thing, it has taught us over and over that it is a results business. And I think the Buccaneers can come out and go 8-9 next year. And that goes for Todd and Jason, not just Todd Bowles, because this is Jason's team. Jason put this team together. They signed extensions. They correlated with each other. I think both Todd and Jason are under pressure right now. I don't think Jason is going to get to hire another coach. He also says, I think Jason has to do a job of identifying some edge rushers. I think it's been the most glaring weakness the last 2 or 3 years, and I don't care what kind of defense you call. You can go back and get Buddy Ryan from the old 46 defense if you don't have guys that can rush the passer. It doesn't matter what defense you call. It doesn't matter who's calling the defense. I think that's the biggest glaring weakness on this team. Booger McFarland. So what do you think about those comments? Not only is Todd Bowles on the hot seat, is Jason Light on the hot seat? Should he be on the hot seat? On the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. That's what real Bucs fans always keep the proper perspective. Love that. A lot of us have to see our team 2 Super Bowls. A lot of fans can't say that. I believe the Glazers knew there wasn't a clear-cut head coach this cycle, and they tried to get Harbaugh. But again, what do we learn about John Harbaugh? At the time, Harbaugh wanted his own general manager, which consequently he didn't get that as he went to the Giants. So they decided to go with Todd Bowles. Makes lots of sense. Mike McCarthy ends up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you think about that move from Mike Tomlin to Mike McCarthy? Is that the way to go, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? I don't know. Derby says hello to you. Thank you for tuning in. Chris Cole says Bucs fans can't complain who's on the sidelines when they don't show up. King Cook 1485. Hey Steeler fans, are you happy now? Laugh out loud. Lamar says speedy recovery for Harry Berg the Greek. Absolutely. Mike D. Roche's there. I had a hockey game I had to play in when the Bucs won their first Super Bowl. Guys kept telling me the wrong score to upset me. Ha, ha, ha. I can see that happening. Great story.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Chris Cole here. The entire offense was a mash unit. You know I'm right. Bolts win versus Utah. Time to start giving the Bolts some love. We do here. We will have the guys there from We the Thunder. I promise.
Oh, yeah.
We always give the Bolts love on this show. But the majority of the time we do talk Bucs. Damn it, I'll be upset too, Mike. I think a lot of people would be upset if they're giving you the wrong score. What kind of friends are these? They don't need to be your friends, Mike DeRoche's from Canada. If you're playing in a hockey game, they're giving you the wrong score. Those are not the kind of friends that you want to associate with. But that's how friends are sometimes. Go Bolts. Absolutely go Bolts. They win tonight. Good stuff there. Let's go out to King Cook. And ironically, when we beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, we knew it. Didn't matter who we played in the Super Bowl. We were winning. Fast forward to Brady when we beat the Saints. Exactly. Agree. King Cook, I knew we would win that Super Bowl as well. Cole, CSB brother. Wow, Peter, you and I are the same page about Baker. I question if any Bucs fan that has had a problem with Baker has been a fan before Brady. Keep telling everyone the truth. Keep it up, Pete. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. Once again, your check is right there. Floridians are soft weather-wise, calling 50 degrees cold. It is cold, okay? I always say people that live down here in Florida are like Chihuahuas. They don't have the fur to deal with the coldness, and it is going to get cold tomorrow. So button up. I'm not Dennis Phillips. Don't play one on TV, but it is very cold tomorrow. Make sure you button up. Make sure you have the coats and everything. It's going to be cold. That day when they beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, I didn't feel anything. I was running down the street, didn't care. Didn't care if I had one article of clothing on because the Bucs were going to the Super Bowl. I honestly don't even, I just was out of it at that point. As soon as Rondé Barber goes 92 yards, you're running out the door. You have no idea where you're running to. You're just running down the block. Try to tell somebody that the Bucs are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to San Diego. How about that? Huh? But yes, soft weather-wise, absolutely. Yes, the Super Bowl was awesome. That was definitely we made it moment. King Cook. Cooper Kupp's dagger was just as sour as Ricky Proehl's. F the Rams. Agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
Nasty. Facts. I think our defense never gave up a 100-yard rusher for like 8 to 9 seasons straight. Something crazy like that. King Cook. Yeah, that was Music City Miracle year. They made it. King Cook again. Do we put Josh Freeman in the top 5, top 10 all-time Bucs quarterbacks? Had one good year. Don't think he's in the top 5 or top 10 as quarterbacks. There was so much potential for him in that 2010 year. I don't know if that puts him with one or couple years there. Get better, Harry the Greek. I'm right. One more year, Lavonte. Stay one more year, Mike DeRoche's. Prayers to the people of Minnesota, Minneapolis. Beautiful mother, Sandra Nagel. She knows about this. 22 years ago tonight, Bucs win their first Super Bowl. I know where she was. She was right next to me watching the Super Bowl, going crazy, trying not to have a heart attack or cardiac arrest, watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web. Appreciate you, Mom. Is there a Mike Evans type of player in this upcoming draft? It's tough to find a Mike Evans type of player. I think the closest thing, as crazy as this sounds and as scary as this sounds, is in Carolina with Ted McMillan. That is close to Mike Evans. Check multiple sources before you post or say anything, Broadway. Absolutely agree with that. I'm guilty of the AI, but I'm always skeptical if they talk about people passing away or something like that. Yeah, again, check the sources. And if we don't report it on the Sports Web, either A, I'm sleeping, or B, it's not true. Okay? Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Gene is not dead. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Fire the cannon.
Fire the cannon!
That's the best part of the Super Bowl is when it's over unless the Bucs are in it. King Cook, I was 19 when we won our first Super Bowl. Man, how time flies. Is it crazy or what? How old we all are and how we can just remember where you were. I mean, you can't remember to lock a door. You can't remember to turn off the oven sometimes, which you know this all too well. Like I came talking about breaking news. We were on a platform at the time. We went live on the Sports Web, and I forgot the oven was on. Thank God it didn't burn down until I smelled something. Then I had to get off there, turn the oven off. You can forget the oven. You can forget to lock your doors. You can forget to do this and do that. But you'll never forget where you were when the Bucs won their first Super Bowl. It's so crazy, isn't it? When you care about something, you don't forget it. You can remember anything and everything if you care about it. If you don't, you forget about it. Especially turning off an oven, which is not necessarily a good thing. You can't do that, kids. You just can't. I was 19 when the Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl. My favorite defense of all time, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp, oh my. Again, Greg Spires. People forget about him. Derek Brooks. How about Rondé Barber, Brian Kelly, Dwight Smith? We interviewed him. Dexter Jackson, John Lynch. So many great players from that team. Let's see here. LVD played a lot faster in the last game of the season. He's had an injured knee most of the season. Damn it, Jim. Go Buccaneers all off season. Cincinnati Bengals, no Super Bowl wins either. There you go, right there. And they've been there how many times? What did they be? 3 times? They went in 82, 88. Both times against San Francisco, both losses in the 80s. How do I remember this? Again, I care about it, so I remember it like a sponge at this point. And then, of course, recently with Joe Burrow and the LA Rams in 2021.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Yes, it was, Tommy. It was definitely good enough to suck because the Rams ended up winning the second team in NFL history to win a Super Bowl in their home stadium. Great show, Peter Blake. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's 6 degrees outside of North Carolina tonight. Again, stay warm, my friends. I'm going to try to go to the April 4th Rays game. I believe that that's against the Chicago Cubs, right?
Yes. Yes.
I believe it is. Let's go out to Broadway here. Love Baker. We need to keep him on the Bucs. And King Cook says that Surratt kid from Indiana reminds me of Mike, but a little more explosive. Let's check here. Instagram Live. Thanks a lot for my guys out there. Let's see. Russ says Pitts is a stud. You got Trent Cooper. If you guys don't know him, if you want to go back in time, which I may after the show, has a great special on Amazon Prime, Raise the Flags. It talks about that year. So there you go. Russ Law says Zach, future head coach. Pete, you're the best, man. Appreciate your support as always, Russ. Zaki Wheatley, safety, Penn State. Pete, I called Tyke. Trust me, you did call Tyke Smith. I'll give you credit for that. Seahawks win. Dexter Jackson intercepts. Draft Gunner Stockton, when time comes. Who else is watching? Sox fan, how about them Patriots? Woo, I'll give you the Ric Flair. Woo! Sox fan 818. I know you guys are so happy there. Good for you. Can't hate on that at all. Trade Mayfield, Dean, second rounder for Josh Allen. Russ, come on now. We're not living in Madden world here or the fantasy world. That's not happening. Brooks, Gruber, Evans, best 3. Gotta love Paul Gruber. You know my story with Paul Gruber, of course. I'll tell it again because that's what I do. When I was younger, I was a Bucs fan. Became a Bucs fan. I was 8 years old. I used to wear this Bucs jacket in middle school, Bayonet Point Middle School, all the time. Got made fun of every day until one day somebody decided to take the jacket, a Bucs Bucko Bruce starter jacket, and burn a hole in it. To get back at those kids, I continued to wear the jacket and then actually got the jacket signed by Paul Gruber. So there you go. There's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. So Paul Gruber, definitely, we love him here on the Sports Web, and that's what you do. That's what you do as a Tampa Bay sports fan. You make the best out of the situation, no matter what happens, right? It goes back to the original emphasis of this show, right? What was your memory 22 years ago? My dad calling me, telling me it was all worth it. It's all worth it. It may not be working out right now, Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans and Tampa Bay sports fans, but you know what? You appreciate it more. We appreciate it more because you have to go through the trials and tribulations to get to that point. But when you get to that point, we feel so much better about it. So yes, Paul Gruber, underrated TB legend of all time. Mr. Wisconsin left tackle, played through all those losing teams, but that was the guy. It was Paul Gruber, it was Mark Carrier, and it was Ricky Reynolds. We've had him on this show before. Wonder why. Those are the Bucs that you look forward to. I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. We'll go with free agency predictions on Wednesday. Hopefully we have the Greek back. Thanks a lot to all the callers, all the people. As I say on this show, you guys are the lifeblood that makes the sports web go. If we don't have Bucs fans, we don't have Tampa Bay sports fans, this show doesn't go. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook and Peter H. Blake. Do 3 things. We'll keep it down. The roommates are in the house. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, especially you Go Bucs fans, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And as we always say to end this show, Go Bucs. 22 years, their first Super Bowl. How about your Bucs?